For all things outdoors, listen to the father of two, the Jesus-loving TV show hosting hairy, true-blood American redneck, Ben Cole.
And listen to the outdoor filming, chef cooking, chocolate milk drinking, John Weissmuller. And we are
Rooted Podcast.
What's up, John? We just talked about beginning turkey hunting. What to do, what you can do, a little bit of tips on the calling from you. So now let's dive into some more basics of hunting for turkeys. Let's talk more about preparing the land for turkeys, how to scout for turkeys, how all this goes in together. And when I say scouting, I mean preseason, during season, and how to keep birds on your property after season.
Let's do it. So if we dive into scouting a little bit, and we can do this kind of in order here. Let's go with preseason scouting. You know, what can one do to give themselves a upper hand come time to actually hunt the turkey? I think there's a few things here, Ben, and interject where you feel needed. I definitely think using Onyx or some map like that, finding a couple ridges, right, to go listen on, whether that's private or public, whatever. I definitely think early season, what I like to do is just literally, if I know that I want to go and I can stand in this spot and, you know, listen to 2 or 3 different ridges kind of around me, I like to just slip in there and literally I don't make a sound the first, time or two, and just see if they gobble by themselves. And if they gobble preseason by themselves, and I've heard them maybe a day or two, then I don't call, I don't owl hoot, I don't do anything if they gobble by themselves, because they're already giving up their location. You don't need to let them know that you're in there.
So one good thing about scouting
them,
that and what you're talking about, before I forget this point, is, you know, it's a lot like scouting for ducks. You have to be precise and you have to be persistent, always looking, always searching for that hot spot for the X, where those birds want to be, because a turkey is always going to be somewhere between food, water, and cover, right? Because they have all of those predators coming after them, the coyotes, the bobcats, raccoons eat their nest, all that stuff. Because it's weird, because a turkey roosts in a tree, but its nest is on the ground. Kind of weird. So the odds are ever against the turkey. But when you're talking about scouting, my way of scouting preseason, and now this is private land, so I'm talking in regards to private land. Public land, I'll touch on that too, but the way I scout my farms is I go out and I glass. I'll sit in a shooting house and just watch and listen and see what I see, and then I'll bounce around to different areas, you know, walking. I don't drive the side by side. I don't do any of that. No disturbance, no noise. I listen, I watch and see, and I try different points, you know, throughout my scouting time. Now, do I get to scout every day? No, I don't. But I try to make a valiant effort to go and at least know where these birds are. But the difference between public and private is I pretty well know where these birds are and where they're going to be. You know, they're pretty well going to be somewhere close to where they were last year. When we've got the private land set up with the chufa and the clover and the different types of food that they need to sustain and grow, you know, like we love to manage the land for deer, grow healthy fawns and healthy does and bucks. Well, we do the exact same thing for turkeys on private land. Now, public land, totally different. You're going to have your hiking shoes on. You're going to have to be ready to drive a lot and listen, glass fields from the road. Like, because there's a lot of times on these public lands, pull-offs. You know, you can just pull off in glass so you're not holding up traffic. I mean, I don't advise just stopping in the road. That's probably not a great idea. But that's the way I like to do it, is I will glass, listen, walk, like you're talking about, hit the ridges, see where I can find different areas of interest and listen. Listening is the biggest thing. But one thing to look for, if they're available, is a power line. I don't know what it is about a power line, but them turkeys love to cross them. They love to fool around in them, and pine thickets too, because of all the
Mm-hmm.
bugs in the ground. I mean, there's a bunch of bugs in a pine thicket, especially one that has been burnt off. If you can find some timber that has been set on fire and burned the underbrush,
Money.
pretty well bet there's going to be turkeys in there. So you need to sit on that
Yep.
and listen and hang out and maybe go back several days if you can,
Mm-hmm.
and try to figure out what's going on with those birds, where they're going to roost. Because, if they don't get spooked, they're going to roost pretty close to where they roosted the day before. As long as they don't get bumped out of the area and stuff like that, which happens. I mean, a coyote can come in there and try
Yeah.
to kill them all, and then they go the next ridge over. But that's just luck of the draw, and there's only so much you can do about that. But when it comes time to actually hunt, right? Like right before hunting season, I still don't call, man. I still do not call when I'm scouting. I do the same stuff. I run cameras, I listen, I walk, I use my
Yeah. I
binoculars.
do not run a turkey call at all.
No, me neither.
Mm-mm.
Absolutely not. And I'm not going to, because I don't want them
Nope.
to even know that I am in existence. I want to stay under the radar at all times. When turkey season gets here and I can kill them, okay. Well, that reduces the pressure, because if you run in there preseason when you're scouting and you start running a turkey call, that is immediate pressure right then and there. It's teaching them. I mean, you're educating them. That's what you're doing. You're educating those birds, because they'll show up and nothing's there. So they're like, well, what was that? She must have went away. But I still think you're educating those birds. And I mean, I could be wrong, but I just don't like to. I don't like to turkey
Yeah.
call unless I'm ready to kill a turkey.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with going in there once or twice, but I mean, I don't do it either, but it's just that kind of repetitive for like 2 weeks before season, like 10 days in a row before season, whatever, doing it, that's where it really hurts you.
Mm-hmm.
I will say another thing about public land. We're talking about scouting. I think it's really important for public land and also private, but more so public. If you go in there in the morning, okay, and you hear birds gobble, right, and you mark it or you just kind of remember it, great. Get out of there. If you can, I suggest going back in between 9 and 10 o'clock and seeing where those birds are, if you can see them, if they're in a field or in an open ridge or something, because a lot of the public land people, they're usually done hunting by 9 or 10, and odds are they probably won't kill the bird just because of how life goes. But if you know where the birds have consistently been in between 9, 10, 11 o'clock, then you can sleep in, go in there after them other guys get out, and probably strike up that bird, because at that point the hen's probably left, he's probably alone, and you can strike him up and get him to come in. So I will say that I think public land, mid morning, early afternoon, really really good chance to shoot something. And another thing about the burnt field, I think it was 2 seasons ago, I shot a turkey out of a field that was still smoking. I mean, well, it wasn't a field; it was a patch of woods. But uh, I mean, it was just this piece of public, and called this bird up, and I was having trouble killing a bird on this land, and then it was like 2 days after they burned it, and it was still smoking, and that old bird loved it. He absolutely, I mean, he just had to be in there. And then I sang him a little song, and he came on into me. But so burnt fields, burnt woods, whatever. It's money, man. straight cash.
Well, and too, if they have some good pasture ground or just meadows, grass fields, even food plots. A
Yeah,
turkey a lot of times will get in the middle of a food plot because they can see.
yeah,
They can see anything approaching them at any time, any angle, and they have enough time to escape. That is why they do that.
yep,
So
yep.
those are good areas to check as well in your preseason scouting. You could just go walking on hoof, looking at your map and seeing, okay, so on this particular piece of public land, we have this field, this field, this field, this field. I'm going to go to these two today, then maybe check these two another day, and then these two the different day. And you just go and you walk to them, you listen, you learn the area, you learn where these birds like to be, where they're congregated. But you can do a lot of this work with your hands and your eyes on a map. You can, and I'm sure there's
Yes.
state maps that are even interactive that you can look through, and it'll tell you
Mm-hmm.
exactly how everything's laid out, the road systems, everything you need to know. But man, the burning of the fields is phenomenal. Any
Yeah,
kind of
dude.
burnt ground, it. So what burning does is it pops open seed pods. It reveals a lot of things that the birds normally wouldn't see. So, like if you have a seed head in some grass, right, it puts all that seed on the ground. So that's just natural food for them, and it makes it easier for them, so they don't have to pick as hard. And it's really good for the soil too, because what you're basically doing is putting potash back into the soil and reducing your fertilizer cost, and it puts a lot more organic matter back into the soil. That's why at the ranch um, we don't like to harvest the corn, because we like the stalks to be mowed and all that debris put back into the soil. And that helps everything, man. When your soil's right and you keep a balance on your trapping, your nest predators, your turkey's going to be right. Everything's going to be balanced. And
Yeah.
I know you may say, well, that doesn't apply to scouting, but it does. It absolutely does. It's all part of the bigger picture. It all works together. Um, because in these big ag fields, those birds will be in there too. Guarantee you they'll be in them big ag fields. I already know for a fact that that's where I'm going in the next couple weeks, is to start looking on these big
Yeah.
ag fields and see what's cruising through there, what's hanging out around them. And I mean, I don't think they've started gobbling yet, but I've been getting some pictures of these birds in full strut, and it
Mm-hmm.
is firing me up. Firing me
Yeah.
up,
It's
John.
awesome.
The old
Yeah,
wise-eye
dude. It's awesome.
cameras are hammering down up on top of that mountain, and there are birds strutting everywhere. The other day, I got a picture, and it was, I think, 12 longbeards, and half of them were in full strut. I was like,
Wow.
"Oh, dude, we gotta get
Yeah.
on this turkey season hype here now, because duck season's over." So it's like, well, we got a couple
That's
goose
it.
hunts left, and it's time for the turkeys. That's what it is. Time for turkeys and farming and fishing.
That's it, man.
Yes, sir.
That's it, man. I love it. So I'll also tell you this: for those of you who have the ability to do this, if you can, have the land and have the ability to plant, if you plant anything for turkeys, I'm telling y'all right now, chufa, chufa,
Chufa.
that stuff is like crack for these turkeys. I
Yes.
tried it out probably three or 4 years ago, and just tried it because I've been hearing about it, going to the Turkey Federation show and all these different things, and buddies of mine and whatever. And I'm like, whatever, I'll try it. And I planted just a little bit of it, kind of like to the side, and they tore it up, man. Gosh dang, we had turkeys in there all the time. And then I was like, okay, this is awesome. And then I planted more of it last year, and I mean, just absolutely put it on them. I got, my father-in-law, poor little Richie, on his first birds, my brother on his first longbeard. I shot one out of there. I mean, it's just awesome. Listen, it's a totally different style of hunting. You're hunting them over food. Uh, we were just fortunate enough they still just gobbled right in front of us and strutted and did their whole thing. It was awesome. But anyway, if you could plant chufa or try to talk to your local game warden and see if he can plant it in some public, because I mean it just looks like grass, so maybe no one would really know except for you. But anyway, man, chufa's just killer.
Yeah, chufa is one heck of a crop for
Yeah, and
turkeys.
clover works too.
Mhm.
Clover's fine too, but chufa's like crack, dude. I mean, they
Oh, it
just love
is.
it.
I don't know what it is. I think it's because it's so chufa is
It's
actually like
crazy.
a sedge, like a nut sedge. It puts on a seed in the root ball underneath the soil. So when
Yeah,
that dies off over the winter, you know, it
correct.
they have something to scratch. They
Yep.
scratch because that's what those birds do is they're scratching all the time
Mm-hmm.
and getting all the grain
Yep.
that way. So if you ever watch a turkey, they'll scratch, walk back, look, walk up, scratch again, walk back. Look, it's pretty cool to sit there and watch them do that stuff. But you just said something that I really wanted to talk about is poor little Richie. Tell us the
Yeah.
story of his first turkey hunt because there's a lot more to that story than what you're probably going to tell, but I'm going to make you tell it anyway. So I just want to hear how
I
that.
will tell the whole shebang. I
All
got
right,
you.
good.
I'll
Tell
tell
me
it.
the whole shebang, but I want to hear how it unfolded. What all happened that day
Yeah.
because I know that there's some little tricks and segues in there that you weren't expecting with the turkeys.
Yeah. So, so I'm taking poor little Richie on his first turkey hunt. And side note, I can't wait for him to come here and tell his point of view. We really got to do that.
Oh
Anyway,
yes.
so we are sitting in the blind, and and I got the food plot out there, and I told Richie, I said, okay, I kind of explained what turkey hunting was and how it was going to go, and they gobble, and there's calling, and they probably with hens and yada yada yada. So it's opening day, and I've had pictures, and I've hunted this spot a bunch, and I've killed birds here, and I'm like, okay, Richie, they're either gonna come basically like 1 o'clock or like 3 o'clock. That's where they're gonna come from. I said they may come from 9 o'clock, but I've seen them do that like once or twice. Like I highly doubt they're gonna come from over there. And so Richie's like, well, then that means they're gonna come from the left because every time something like that happens, I'm weird. It's gonna happen. I'm like, man, listen, I'm gonna get you set up to shoot to the right. He's like, okay, man. Hey, you're the turkey guy. Whatever. So we're sitting there, this bird's gobbling, and he's just gobbling, hammering, 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 and I'm not calling because I know he's coming to this field. And I'm like, I ain't screwing this up. Well, we're sitting there, don't hear nothing for about 15, 20 minutes. And I look up, and sure enough, dude, there's a big old freaking gobbler and like 6 or 7 hens to the left of us. I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. And he just looks at me like, told you. I knew they were going to come from the left. I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, okay, well, not a problem. We just got to let them walk over. So he has this Tacticam on his gun. I let him borrow my Browning A5, and I had the little camera on it, and because I wanted to document this, and he forgot to hit it, and he already kind of had his gun halfway ready, and I was like, I'm just gonna reach over real fast, nice and easy, and tap the thing, dude. There's 7 sets of eyes looking at us, turkey eyes at that. So I'm barely moving, and I almost make it all the way back, and one hen saw me and toosh took off. And now I'm just frozen, and I'm telling Richie, I'm like, just don't move because the way that the birds were so far left, some were still in the woods and some were coming into the field. and the blind was kind of blocking it, and of course the brush and trees and stuff. So I'm like, okay, just wait, because I saw the look on the turkeys. Right, the one bolted. The one that saw me knew better. She was gone, and then another two or three of them. They kind of looked around like, well, that was weird, because the turkey didn't make a sound, didn't do a cut, didn't make a racket, just boosh, gone. And two or three hens kind of look like, I guess I'll leave too if she left. So then and then the rest of the hens just kind of slowly walk away, like very confused, like they were looking around like, okay, I guess we're not eating here today. But I did not see the gobbler follow those hens. So I knew he was still in the woods behind us. And Richie's like, man, what the heck happened? And in my head, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I just ruined this dude's first hunt. It was going to be perfect, textbook. Well, then I'm like, all right, this bird's right behind. I give it maybe like a minute, 2 minutes tops. And I get my ceramic call out and I yelp like 3 or 4 times, and he hammers. I mean, just, and I'm like, oh, here we go. And then I just set the call down, and he pops out to the right of us. Finally, he did it right. He came to the right of us, and he was looking for those hens that left. And Richie shot him. Phenomenal hunt. The other reason that I was nervous, so the hunting part's over. Well, before the hunt, I knew that was the day I was going to ask Richie for permission to marry his daughter. So the whole time I'm thinking about how I'm going to ask, I'm like, well, I don't know what I'll do. I'll get us in a turkey blind together. That's a great idea, because if he shoots a turkey, he'll be real happy, and then he's got to say yes. So when I screwed up and the hen saw me, I was like, well, this is going the complete opposite way I wanted it to go. And then he finally shoots the turkey. We get home. I teach him how to breast out the bird and, get all the stuff off and all that jazz. And then, we're taking pictures and we're retelling the story to his wife, right? And just having a great time. And then while they're both in the kitchen at their house, we were kind of reminiscing. And then I, eventually asked, and I actually asked them both. And then, got the okay. And rest is history from there. And we actually went on to shoot two more birds together that season. So that's poor little Richie's first turkey story right there, from my eyes anyway.
Well, I can't wait to hear that story from his perspective. And man, what a hunt. That's the crazy thing is those birds
Awesome.
can see so well. You don't ever really,
It's stupid.
you just can't move hardly at all. I mean, just the
No.
slightest little move, they're out. I mean, they just shoot out to the next county pretty much. And man, I've had that happen
Yeah.
more than once, especially except for those birds in Texas, man. I know I talk about it a lot, but good grief. We had no cover, no nothing, sitting out wide open
They
under
didn't know
the
any better.
mesquite tree. I was like, man, this ain't even fair. But it was. They could have seen us plain as day. It's just like,
Hey, man.
good grief. What in the
Well,
world is
look here,
going on?
man. The best camouflage is sitting still. And on that particular hunt, I think having decoys. Listen, I don't really carry decoys, hardly, but I have them for situations like that where I think they were just so focused on the decoys,
Mm-hmm.
they just had tunnel vision and they just didn't care. And on that hunt, it worked out to perfection. So
It really did, man.
sometimes decoys are good.
Yeah, I think everything has a place because at the end of the day, we're
Yeah.
we're not out there to just dilly dally. We're out there to put food on the table for our families and enjoy what God has given us to do that with. So
Yeah. Yeah.
whatever,
I'm there to shoot turkeys.
yeah, me too. So my whole
Yeah.
opinion on that is whatever is legally capable or whatever you're legally able to hunt with, I mean, dude, I'm not a purist. I want to kill a dang turkey.
Heck no.
You know, I mean, if
Yeah.
it's a legal method, I'm after it. I'm for it. I mean,
Yeah,
it's,
dude.
you
I don't
know,
care. Bow, gun, 12 gauge, 410, whatever.
I don't care at
Shoot it.
all. I don't care what the rules
Heck
are.
no.
And, but no, I mean, you know, I like hunting them without decoys, but I also, sometimes it helps finish the deal. It's that visual effect that you need to really seal up
Yeah.
what you're trying
Hey,
to
l-
accomplish.
and look here. Sometimes it's fun to watch a turkey beat the living crap out of a decoy. It's just
Yes.
fun to watch.
Yes,
I
it
like it.
is.
He comes in there, bowed up, and just bah, 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 bah.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, yeah, baby, get it, son. It's like Ali and Foreman in there just bah, bah, bah.
Duking it
And
out.
then he realizes it's fake, and then you shoot him, and it's awesome. It's a great time.
It is a great time,
I
man.
love it.
But you know, it's a really solid display of how territorial those birds are. How I mean, man, watching
Yeah.
an actual live turkey fight. You know, you're talking about them beating up the decoys. Watching an actual
Oh,
two
dude,
birds fight. So last year or year
it's
before
rough.
last, I watched two birds fight, and I thought they are going to fight to the death. Like one of them is
Oh
going
yeah,
to
they
die.
bite each other.
One of them's going to
Yeah.
die, man. They were grabbing each other's snoods, pulling them, pecking the fire at each other, spurring each other. I mean, this went on forever. I mean, I say forever. It probably went on for 15 minutes or so. And then the one bird just gave up, dude. He just laid down and just like, I am done. I can't move. I'm wore
Hey,
out. I'm whipped. And the
that's
other
nature.
one was still on top of him, beating the crap out of him. I was like, huh, ain't that something? So Bird can't even cut him a break. He
Yeah,
laid down in submission, and then that one old turkey's still
nature,
dragging him
man.
by the snood. I mean, just to
They
see
they they
that,
do not care,
no,
bro.
they don't care. And to see that, and to see them, you know, beating up the decoys the way they do, it's just super cool to watch that kind of
It's
stuff.
awesome.
And you know, I think,
Heck yeah,
like I
dude.
said, I think whatever you can do legally to increase your odds, I'm all about increasing my odds.
Yeah, yeah, Dan. Well, whatever works, and you just need to have it just in case.
Yeah.
Like it's just there. Like most things in your turkey vest, you may only use one call that day, or you may use 10, but you gotta have it in the vest.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of turkey vest, let's dive into what we think is essential to have packed in that turkey vest.
Mm. Well, listen. First things first. I don't care what you're doing. You need a snack, and Little
Yes,
Debbie provides a lot of them.
zebra
Whether it's
cakes,
Star Crunches, zebra cakes,
honey buns.
whatever, you gotta have a snack.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, hey man, listen,
yeah,
you gotta have a snack. Listen, if you're gonna go for a walk, I mean, you gotta have energy. So you need a bottle of your favorite drink, preferably water if you're gonna be walking a lot. But hey man, it's a free country. If you want to put a Mountain Dew in there, put a Mountain Dew in there, and then get you a zebra cake, a Star Crunch, a pack of donuts, whatever, and rock on. That's the first thing: food and water, or
yes,
drink, whatever you want.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's numero uno.
You gotta have the food, and you gotta have hydration. Another thing that I like to keep in my turkey vest is an assortment of shells. So I keep several different kinds in there. I
Really?
keep yes, I do. I keep longbeard XRs in there, and then or whatever they are. Is that correct? Longbeard XRs. Is
Yeah,
that
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay, yeah, I got those, and
Winchesters.
then
Yep.
I've got some Apex tungsten in there, and then I have one box of 20 gauge in there, or I may have just three shells in there of 20 gauge in case I forget. In case I forget and I'm out with my 20 and I'm thinking, shoot, I left my ammo at the house. I always like to keep at least three shells in my bag at all times. And if I use one, I replenish that one. So that way, if I ever do get in a situation where I'm just grab a gun and go, I'm not thinking, well, crap, I am up a creek without a paddle.
That's interesting. Yeah, I've never really heard of that because I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean I mean it's logical. I've always just so I know that my gun shoots Longbeard XRs well. I have a choke that is supposedly designed for Longbeard XRs. Whatever. Uh, I'm not saying they're the best shell. I've killed a lot of birds with them, and I'm kind of stubborn like that, and I just don't really. And one, shells are expensive, man. So it's
Yeah.
like, you know, if I just know this works, like I'm sure there's a ton of TSS companies out there that are, you know, way better or shoot farther, whatever. I just like Longbeard XR, and I know they work, and I just use those. So I just keep those in my thing, but I will you know, if I do take out the 410 or the 20, I will always throw, you know, 3 or 4 in my vest along with the other 12. So, but for for the most part, I hunt with a 12 gauge Brown and A5, and then I have my shells. So you definitely got to have extra shells because hopefully it only takes one shot. But hey, I'd rather have them and not need them. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely. And another thing I like to keep in my bag or vest, which brings me to a good point. Look what just came in the mail. This right
Uh oh.
here
What you
is
what you got?
the new. Look at this. This is the new
Oh,
Sitka pack.
oh yeah.
It's the
Check that thing out, man.
turkey tool belt. Look, it has a spot for some calls and a drink pouch on one side for your, look at that, spot for your slate call in
Oh yeah.
there. All kind of knickknacks in here,
Okay.
man. It's got the fold out pad there to sit on. You know,
Check
I like
that
to
then.
be comfy, but one thing I like to keep in my bags at all time for turkey hunting, whether it be a vest or that tool belt, I love to keep more than one striker. And you probably understand when I say that because different types of wood with different densities provide different sounds. And I love
Yep.
to mix it up sometimes. And like we were talking about on the previous episode, if they're not hitting the one sound, I change striker, chirp, 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 and it may be just enough of a difference to send that bird into gobbling again. Or I have another call that I like to use, and I want to make sure that I'm not always using the same striker per call. I like to figure out what striker works best with what call. And I like to do that so I don't have to worry about, well, I only have one striker and it don't work on this call, this call, this call as well as it does this one, but this one's not working today. You know, I want to be able to have a multitude of sounds in my arsenal ready to rip at
Mm-hmm.
all times.
Yeah. I always keep two different strikers. I've got one that's wood. I forget the type of wood right this second. Maybe mahogany or something. Um, and then it's actually dipped in this acrylic to keep it waterproof and or to make sure that it plays wet. So I have that, and then I keep a aluminum striker on me as
Really?
well. Um, yeah, it's you know a lot of people don't use like metal strikers like that,
Mm-hmm.
uh, which is why I kind of find it successful, especially on public, man, because you hard and it sounds silly because like man, a slate call is a slate call. It's like dude, to that turkey, if you hit an aluminum striker on the right day, it's like it's just that much different to where it makes them pop off and it makes them interested. So those are the two strikers that I keep just for the same reason as you, just different pitches.
Yeah. And another thing that I like to keep in my vest is two different types of sandpaper. So one, I like to keep a stone, like a sanding stone, to sand different spots on a glass call because I find that, you know, I know you were talking earlier about the roofing sandpaper, um, and I
Mm-hmm.
know that works well too. But for me, the sanding stone works pretty well to rough up a glass call, specifically a glass call. Now the
Yeah.
others, I use just regular old 60 grit sandpaper and scratch it up real good.
Yep.
I mean that'll work good on a
Works fine.
glass call too, but I just like the way the stone. I don't really. I mean, I don't even know how to describe it.
It just cuts it better, man. It
Yeah.
just cuts it better.
So
Because
when you
listen,
when you
crystal's the same way. It
Mhm.
just sandpaper just still won't cut through it good
Mm-mm.
enough.
So when you use that
Anyway.
stone, it makes your calling smoother. And when I say smoother, I'm not saying competition. I'm saying easier to do for me is having
Mm-hmm.
that on the glass call, because a glass call can be tricky if you're not sanded well and not have the spot prepared well, because when you start wearing through that, it gets real tricky real quick. It'll start making weird noises and screeches and stuff like, well, mine will anyway. Maybe it's just me, John. Maybe I'm the one that's making all those weird noises. But anyway, nonetheless, that's what I like to keep is a stone and then some 60 grit sandpaper in my bag. And then I like to keep an assortment of mouth calls, which we talked about all that on the last episode, but I do like to keep at
No,
least
still.
3 different kinds or styles, I would say, of mouth calls in
Yeah.
in my
Yep.
vest at all time.
Yep. I really like to have a variety of mouth calls, whether it's different cuts or different reed, amount of reeds. I obviously I like to have my 2 pot calls. I like to have my 2 strikers. I like to have my different mouth calls. I need a box call in there, and then all of my locators as well are usually in a pocket, and then obviously all the stuff to kind of keep maintenance. Another thing that is usually not in everybody's vest that needs to be, if there's any kind of, obviously you got the traditional, right? The calls, the food, the snacks, the water, whatever. You need to just spend the money on it. Just get a good set of rain gear, a jacket
Mm,
and pant that fits over all your stuff. So you may want to go the next size up. That's what I
mm-hmm,
did. And roll it up real tight, put it in a Ziploc, a good waterproof Ziploc baggie, and put that, if you have a vest, put that in your like back pocket area where you would hold the turkey.
mm-hmm,
As I'm telling you, I know, you could look at the weather on your phone, yada yada yada. Stuff happens. You may not realize rain's coming, or it's just a pop up shower, or you just get caught in it. Whatever. It's nice. It's nice to have. At the very least, have it in your truck, and then hopefully, you kind of look at the weather and have it. But I'm telling you, a good set of rain gear can save you on a hunt.
Oh, buddy, a good set of rain gear will always save you on a hunt. But here's 2 things that I keep in my vest, or actually that's going to be transferred into this Sitka tool belt, is a
Mm-hmm.
cigar and a wine
Mm-hmm.
cork. So the wine cork, everybody likes to put on these face masks. Okay, cool story. I have a beard. Don't work. So I just paint my face right here. See that little outline right there? We do that number right there. And the nose. We do all that with the wine cork. So all we do is we take and burn one end and then just scratch it all over our face. And what that does is it breaks up my pie face in the trees. So I can now blend in better because, man, I'm telling you, I don't know what it is, but a mask on my mustache just don't work. Can't stand it. Drives me insane. I mean, literally, insanity is approaching when I put on a face mask. I hate it, man. Hate it. So, and the cigar is
It's funny.
for after the harvest. You get to smoke a stogie with your bros, have a good time doing it. And at the end of the day, man,
Heck yeah.
that's what it's all about. Is being out there with your guys and your boys, or you ladies at turkey hunt. I'm not excluding y'all either. You girls, or whatever it is, whatever your terminology is. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Your
Whatever,
buddies.
yeah, your buddies. There you go, your buddies. So whatever that looks like for you, I mean, that's what it's all about. And I just so happen to like
Yeah.
cigars.
Yeah, and there's that.
Yeah, there's that, and a good warm fire. Looking forward to that, man. In the early turkey season,
Dude,
when it's still kind of cool out, a good fire down there at the Sinking Creek Ranch. That's nice.
hey, and look here. If y'all are in a state that you can only kill, your one bird a day or whatever, like us in Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
you you need to keep just a little old tackle box and a fishing pole. Go in the morning, shoot your turkey, smoke your cigar, have fun, eat your crumbled up zebra cake,
Yes.
and then go catch you a bass, man.
Yeah,
I did
good.
that last year,
Yeah.
dude. So get this, man. I take my brother out hunting in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots his only long beard, his biggest turkey, right? And I say his biggest turkey, and I just said his only long beard. You may be confused. He shot a bearded hen for his first turkey. He's never shot a long beard. Anyway, so he shoots this big old bird, and then we go back home, and his daughter is there, and she wants to go fishing. So okay, we'll go fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And so my brother on the same day, he shot that bird, and then probably like 3 or 4 hours later, he caught a 3-pound bass. Like, it's just an awesome time, man. Shot this bird, got a bass, just hanging out with family and friends, and I mean, what a time, dude.
Yes. What a time. And, you even may want to consider one other thing to throw in that bag or your turkey vest is
Yeah,
a thermocell. A thermocell
yeah.
will save you from the bugs, mosquitoes more
Oh
specifically.
yeah.
If there's one thing I can't handle, John, is mosquitoes in my ear. Cannot handle it. I have enough ringing as it is from the gunshots over the years with no ear protection. So the last thing that I want is a
Ear
mosquito
protection.
in my ear hole. Yes, ear protection. That's another one,
Listen,
guys. Don't be like me.
I have. Yeah, no. Listen, I've got 2 sets of ear protection in my vest, and
Mm-hmm.
then I've also got a set that goes over, which is what I like to wear. Uh, it, and because and listen, I'm sure there's better companies. There's something like a what are the earpieces that are molded and you can hear it all, and then it shuts off
Oh
over a
yeah.
certain decibel.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever. Anyway, I'm blanking on a company name, but
Odor prep.
those are out there. Yep, them and someone else. Anyway, there's like 2 or 3 of them companies, but
Yeah.
Odapro's one of them. And then man, Walker, just a relatively cheap set of walkers that they just amplify everything, so it's not as nice as those Odapros or whatever. But anyway, if you get something like that, but then even just a cheap little set, I literally have little things to fit in just a little circle. It doesn't take up space at all, and it saves your ears, man. You got to have ear protection,
Yeah.
otherwise you're gonna be deaf. I
Yes.
mean, you got to have it.
Yeah. So yeah, maybe that's a sponsor we look into for this podcast so I can still hear to do this in a
Hey,
couple of
man.
years.
Yeah. Yeah. Please. Hashtag save Ben's hearing. Someone help.
Oh my goodness, yes. Help
Uh,
my hearing.
so listen. So look. This is something I want to point out. You showed us that vest.
Yeah.
Listen, I haven't seen it. I'm excited to see it in person
Yeah.
at the turkey show
Mhm.
because I'll say this, man. I'm not gonna dog any company here, but I haven't really found a vest that I truly am like in love with.
Mhm.
There's always one thing I'm like, this needs some tweaking. 99% of it is awesome. Like, I had this one vest and everything was great, but the straps. And then I got this other vest, everything was awesome, but the striker holder, it wasn't long enough, and it was and I didn't really like the how it was configured. And I lost the striker because of it. It just wasn't long enough. The thing popped out and lost it. I was running and gunning. so it's like there's always something,
Yeah.
and I always felt like it was kind of too much. There's just a
Hmm.
lot going on. It's like, man, I just need, and I've thought this before, and so I'm glad Sika came out with something, because I'm always like, I don't need pockets here, 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 here. I just need it all right here where my hands can get to. And also, what's neat about that, what I'm kind of seeing already, is if you can imagine, you're kind of sitting against a tree, dude. Your hands are already kind of like your gun is kind of laying on your lap,
Hmm.
before you come up to shoot.
Yeah.
Like, and then pockets are just right there. That's all you need. Like, I mean, I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to hopefully get to test it out and
Yeah.
try it, and put it through the ringer, man. That's what I'm ready for. It just looks like a really, really neat, cool product, innovative, something new into the turkey world.
Hmm.
I'm excited to see it and check it out.
Well, I'll tell you this. You said you lost your striker. This actually has striker pouch, and it's in with the calls,
Yeah,
obviously, but it's a zipper pocket, so you don't lose your strikers. They're all contained in one
yeah,
spot. They can't come out unless you leave the zipper open. So you should not have that trouble
yeah,
anymore with this setup. It's awesome. Awesome, dog. I
yeah,
can't.
dude.
I mean,
I'm I'm really excited.
I'm about to start packing all my stuff in there just because I'm excited, ready to go for the turkey season,
Yeah, heck yeah.
ready to rip and
No, dude.
roar.
I'm really pumped up for it. I'm excited to hopefully try that out and see what it's like. And yeah, dude, I'm just ready for hunting season, man.
Yeah,
I'm ready to shoot a turkey. I'm ready to hear one gobble,
me
and
too.
hopefully these people learned something today. A little bit of preseason scouting, and we didn't. I mean, in if you want to, Ben, we can dive into in season stuff. Calling how to get birds off of hens and all that jazz, or
Man, you know
or
what I
we can
think?
save it
Yeah, I
and
think
talk
we
about it
do
later.
another
What's up?
episode and talk about that by itself. Start the episode with that. I think that is what our next
All right,
episode will
cool.
be. So, guys, if y'all want to hear more about turkey hunting and how to chase these rascals,
Yeah,
tune in to the next
let us
episode
know.
and let us know your questions. Comment, send us an email, whatever. We'd love to hear your feedback. We'd love to hear what your thoughts are and how stuff works for you. Um, it works different for everybody. Everybody's got tricks of the trade, and man, you can learn so much from listening to
Mm-hmm.
somebody tell their story and their view of things and the way that it has worked for them over the past few years, because everywhere you go is not the same. So with that, guys, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget, go to rootedtelevision.com to shop all things Rooted Podcast and Rooted Television. Uh, you can get all our episodes there. You can get everything you need, even swag. And we just released 2 new items in the store. Go check it out.
Uh-oh.
Order yours today. And guys, Rednecks out.
See y'all.
For all things Rooted Podcast and Rooted Television, and I mean hats, shirts, hoodies, and other merch, check out our friends at CH Lone Star Pro and the link that is in our description.